Today we're talking about something that I love to talk about, which is how to get more time in your life. Time management is a skill that I think some people are really awesome at naturally, and as things get busier and busier and busier in life, it can be difficult to feel like you're using your time in the way you desire. I felt like for me, before I really was intentional about how I was spending my time, I was doing a lot of putting out fires and often doing things that probably weren't the most important thing for me to be doing because I didn't have a solid strategy. And then I often felt overwhelmed or like I couldn't get to everything or almost paralyzed because there were so many things to do and I wasn't sure where to start. And so I've spent so much time in the last 10 years and I still work on it all the time because I am not perfect. I have days where my time management is complete crap. But I have days and weeks where I am so good at this and I get so much stuff done. So today I wanted to talk to you about one of the things that has made the biggest difference in my life and my ability to get so much done and feel good about it and be able to live my priorities. And that's what this is all about. It's not just about getting more done. It's about getting done the things that fill you up, that make you happy, that make your heart soar, that make you feel good about the life that you're living. That is what we all want. So I'm not going to dwell too much today on my mistakes, but I've made every single mistake possible when it comes to managing my time. But because I've learned so much, I want you to have some of the lessons that I've already learned so you can just skip over the screwing it up part. So today we're going to talk about time blocking, which is one of my very favorite tools, because it has ultimately led to better work-life balance for me, meaning I am living my priorities. I design how I spend my time. I am intentional about how I spend my time, which means I spend as much time as I desire. You each get to pick this for yourself. Doing the things that fill me up, that move my business forward, that fill up my heart, that help me with my relationship with my spouse or my kids or whatever. I choose and I live intentionally. And time blocking has been the thing that has made that the easiest for me. So I'm going to take you through a little step-by-step guide on to be able to set up a time-blocked schedule for yourself. We're going to talk about how you do this as a busy mom, wife, dentist, all the things in your life. And so we can break our life down into categories. And I know that doesn't sound super sexy, but it's a great way to do it to make sure that work, family, self-care, your hobbies, all of those things have their place. Because we all know that if you don't take care of every aspect of your life and you feel like you're lacking, like you don't have enough time for fun, or you don't have enough time for your kids, or you don't have enough time for your spouse, or you don't have enough time to do some of the work things that you really want to be doing, then we need to do something different. Because of course, if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, hoping to get a different result, it's probably not going to happen. If we want a different result, we have to take a different action. And sometimes that means doing something boring like time blocking. I find it exciting. I do it every Sunday. It totally has changed my world. So let's dive in. Let's talk about what time blocking actually is. Some of you may have heard about this, and if you don't need this lesson, it was nice chatting with you for a second. A lot of people have not heard of time blocking or have never actually tried to use it. So time blocking is just a time management method that involves dividing your day into little blocks of time. You can decide how big those blocks are, and each block of time is dedicated to a particular task or group of tasks. And the idea is that you focus on one thing at a time, on the things that you've decided you wanted to make time for, so that you don't get stuck in this weird, crazy, scattered up in your head, constant multitasking. Because when that happens, then we get really scattered and things don't get finished, means they don't get off the list. And we also don't actually spend our time then the way we want to. So you get to increase your productivity when you time block, but you also get to increase your intentionality, meaning you are spending your time doing the things that are important to you. Only you can pick that. So what you need to do is set up a time block schedule. When I did this with my kids when I was teaching this concept a couple summers ago when they were much littler, we actually used like colored construction paper and we cut out a bunch of blocks of different sizes. Each size meant a different amount of time, and we made it for their summer schedule so they wouldn't be asking me constantly what to do all summer. We made a table, and then for every week they organized all their blocks, like where was my screen time, where was my outside play time, where's my read a book time, where's my watch a movie time, where's my hang out with my friends time, and they would lay out their block for the week, and then they would live by that block as much as they could. You have to be flexible sometimes and change it around, and then we'd assess for the next week and then change up the blocks. What that allowed us to do were simple things like, if their screen time is limited to 2 hours a day, then you only get 2 hours a day to go in the block, right? It's a way to put guardrails up for ourselves as well. If you don't want to be binge watching TV shows every night, then you don't put time in your schedule for you to be doing that. So what you need to do to set this up is know what your tasks are. So what are all the things that you could possibly be spending your time on in a day? This could be things from like being at work, seeing patients, to doing admin work for the practice, to team meetings, to then all of your personal activities, family dinners, exercise, movie time, rock climbing, like whatever it is that you can think of that you could possibly want to do. You want to list out all of your tasks, especially the ones that are super important to you that you don't want to leave out, like self-care, maybe like a hobby, like exercise, like sleep. I put that in my time. And so you want to make a list of all tasks that you can possibly come up with. And then you want to categorize them. So I like to block my things out into like work related, personal related, and family related, so that I have like 3 big main categories, because the app that I use, and we'll get there in a second, has a way for me to list all those tasks under the main categories, and then I can put my schedule together that way. So make a list of your tasks and then categorize them into as many categories as you need. If you need 10 categories, you have 10. If you need 2, you have 2. And then what you're going to do is when you go in to time block yourself, you're going to decide if you want your time blocks to be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and you're going to block it off. You can do this in a calendar app, but we're going to talk about the one I like in a second. So your day might look like this. 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. patient appointments, 11 to 12 admin tasks, 12 to 1 lunch and family check-in, 1 to 3 patient appointments, 3 to 4 admin follow-up, 4 to 5 exercise, 5 to 7 cook and family dinner, 7 to 8 read a book, take a bath, play with the kids, whatever. And you're going to block out from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. Now here, the first one I said was 8 to 11 patient appointments. In my time block, I know what time I get up in the morning. So if it says from 5 to 5:30, I'm going to meditate. And then from 5:30 to 6:30, I'm going to get ready for work, shower, get ready, pack my lunch, have my coffee, like all of those things. I might not separate it out into minuscule tasks, but I just call it morning routine. And then I just block my morning routine in there. And I try to put my blocks to fill the whole day. Now I have flex blocks where if I'm not really sure I have some free time, those blocks are used for whatever they need to be used for, because you need flexibility. I like to use a time finder. So the app is called Time Finder. I've done a video, I'll find it, maybe try to link it below, where I actually walk you through what the app looks like. The reason I like that app, it links to my calendar, so everything in my calendar gets pulled over so that the blocks that have been filled by events in my calendar are already there. But it allows me to set up all my little tiny tasks under categories and then drag them in to plan my week. So on Sundays I sit down, I time block my Monday through Sunday, and then it has automatic notifications. So if I was supposed to be exercising from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then at 7 a.m. I have a Zoom call, and then at 9 a.m. I'm supposed to be journaling, whatever it is, then it will bing at me every time the task changes to remind me. Because the big key about time blocking for time management is you have to follow it, or it doesn't really work. And yes, you have to leave space for flexibility, but you have to actually attempt to follow it to see if it's working. So in the Time Finder app, you set up blocks, you set up your reminders and alerts. Then when things don't work out, you can also change it on the go to make adjustments to how it actually happens so that you have that data for later if maybe you need more time for that task. Maybe you thought, okay, I'm going to do a 30-minute workout, but then you realize, well, by the time I change, do my workout, shower, and get changed again, that's actually 45 minutes. Maybe you need your workout block to be 45 minutes because you're not giving yourself enough time to actually do the thing. It also is great for visualization. Because you can set up your categories and it will show up on your Time Finder app in those colors. So I have colors for personal, for family, and for work. Then when I glance at my day, I can see visually how much time I have in there set aside for those 3 things. And I get to decide what the right balance is for me for those 3 things, but I can then look and see if I'm actually living my priorities based on what I've scheduled for myself. Now, sticking to your time blocks can be challenging, but here's a few tips. 1, set the reminders in the app. If you're using Time Finder, set it in there. If you're using a calendar, set it in there. So you have something like binging or bonging or whatever to remind you to switch tasks. The second thing is you have to be flexible and not beat yourself up when you can't follow it exactly, because sometimes things come up and it will have to shuffle. And that's okay. This is meant to be guardrails. Give you a good idea to make sure you're spending your time in the way that you intend. And you must always remember yourself in this. You want to prioritize self-care. Meaning when you're doing all your time blocking, don't forget about the time you need for you, whatever that means for you. Doesn't have to mean like having a bubble bath. That might mean going for a walk, reading a book, talking to a friend, learning something new. I mean, it could be absolutely anything, but make sure you put yourself in your schedule. Now, to make time blocking easier, there are several resources you can use. I've mentioned the app Time Finder. I'll say it again, it's my favorite. You can use your calendar apps like Google or Outlook. You can use a time management app like Trello or Asana. There's many things out there. And so whatever tech works for you that you use day to day, try to use that tech. It's going to be the easiest way to do it. I mean, I don't remember when I found the Time Finder app, but it's been the best one I've found by far. So that's really the gist of it. It's that easy. Time blocking is so powerful. It can help you achieve better work-life balance. It can increase your productivity, but it can also mean that you will live your priorities. And when we live our priorities, our overall level of happiness, contentment, fulfillment in our life goes up. And when all of those things go up, everything else gets better. So it means you can take care of you can take care of the people that you love the very most in this world. So if you have questions about this, shoot me a question. You can put something in the comments below. You can send me a DM anytime you want. If you watched this video, thank you for joining me today. I am always happy if I can give one shred of information to someone that helps them do something easier or better or faster than they could do it without this information. And again, as I always say every time, if there's something specific you want me to talk about, please let me know. I'm happy to talk about just about anything.